Hi YouTube, this is a continuation of the e-bike ecosystem series. I want to give you a little bit more information on this shed. When I bought my first e-bike, I knew that it was going to be too heavy for me to carry up and down the stairs, and plus I didn't have any room in my apartment anyway, so I decided I would build this shed. And it is essentially just, I bought some pretty cheap panels originally. These are 4x8 panels at Home Depot because I wasn't sure how long I would be able to stay here. And this was 4 years ago. Had I known I would be here this long, I might have invested more in better quality plywood. But this is fine. It's done. It served the purpose. And I could not build a permanent structure because I am renting, and my landlord would not allow a permanent structure. So I built this to be portable. I wanted to keep it as small a number of panels as possible. So the shed is 4 feet wide, which accommodates one 4x8 panel, and it is also, it's 6 feet high. So that is one panel on the bottom, and I just ripped a panel right down the middle, so that's another 2 feet. So basically 3 panels, 1, 2, and then this one split in half. These 3 panels created the sides of the shed. I've got one 4x8 panel, and I cut it off at 6 feet, so I had 2 feet of extra. But there's one 6x4 panel that forms the back end. There's another 6x4 panel that forms the roof. And then I had one panel that I split for the doors. So that was just a total of 6 panels built this entire shed. And then I just did my measurements, and I used, this is 1.5 inch Schedule 4 pipe, just standard PVC piping. You had to get the connectors. This is a 3-way, and if I could do it over again, I probably would have made this center connection a 5-way, so I could have run one more pipe down the center just to prop it up a little bit, because unfortunately the roof is sagged just a slight amount, nothing dramatic. You can see there at the back where I had the support post, that one's perfectly straight, but this one in the center and this outside, since it did not have a bottom support post, it has sagged a small degree, but nothing significant. So, and then once you have those measurements, you just drill holes, and I've just bolted the thing together with stainless steel bolts. So I've kind of lost track of exactly how many bolts I put in here. But even once I got it bolted together, on the floor, the bottom section, I did not nail any wood down. Basically, I had this skeleton of the PVC pipes, and to fill that in at the bottom, I just added these. These are basically pond rocks that you can get at Home Depot. I can't remember exactly. I think they were 10-pound bags maybe. But maybe 4 bags of rocks filled in the bottom. And then when I cut the panels off, I did have these 2 foot sections off the tops. It was a 4x8 panel. I cut it down to make it 6 feet to form the length. So I had these extra panels, and those actually just fit perfectly to lay over the rocks. So I have a pretty nice floor in here also. And again, this is all portable. I can unbolt everything, and just, if I move, I can take this with me. So basically, if you have enough space in your backyard, anywhere, all you need is 6 feet by 4 feet as far as ground space goes, and you can put this shed in there. And it's been 4 years, I don't recall exactly, but I would say probably $400 maybe for all the panels, all the PVC pipe, all the bolts, everything it took to construct this shed. And then once I had it bolted on the corners, I also added these corner flanges just to kind of seal everything up. And then I put flashing tape back behind those, just so to make it as watertight as possible. And then on the roof, at the time I built this, we had actually a rainstorm coming in, and I didn't have time to coat it with any sort of a chemical water repellent, so I just put this tarp over the top, and it's actually worked quite well. It has not leaked, And these tarps, these are the heavy-duty tarps. You can get these on Amazon for like $15. And the first one wore out after about, I think I got 3 seasons out of it, possibly 2. And then the UV, eventually these plastic tarps will deteriorate just from the ultraviolet radiation. But anyway, the tarp only costs $15, so even if you have to do it every couple of years, it's $7 a year to keep your roof waterproofed. So, and this works perfectly for 2 e-bikes. I've also got my Burley trailer in there, and I added this little solar operation, and that was pretty simple too. Up here at the top, that is a 100-watt solar panel. I bought the kit from Windy Nation on eBay, and that kit included the panel. It included this controller here. So the solar cables run from the panel over the roof of the shed, comes down the side, and so you have to connect those cables to this controller, and then that controller maintains the proper voltage to keep these 2 12-volt batteries charged up. These batteries they're solar batteries. They're not just standard lead-acid batteries. These are VMAX Solar SLR 60, which means they're 60 amp hours each. I've got them connected in parallel, so I have a total of 120 amp hour capacity in these 2 batteries, and those stay charged up with the solar panel. So at any given time, I'll show you that right now. Actually, I'm going to charge one of my bikes. So let me pull this one bike out just so I have a little more room. Okay, so I'm going to charge this bike. I'm getting ready to use it tomorrow for a excursion. So I usually keep a charger in one of my panniers, just for that way I've always got one with me, and no matter where I am, if I go to visit a friend or if I'm at work, I can always charge this bike. But when I'm at home, I just use my little solar charger here. So the way this works, connected to the batteries, I have a 1000-watt inverter. You can see here, the inverter just has a couple of standard sockets. So this inverter converts to 12 volt into 110, which is your standard household voltage. I just plug charger in. I then connect the charger to my battery. Again, I'm doing this with one hand, so pardon it may be a bit jerky here in places. But you can see I'm getting ready to charge this, plug this battery into the charger. Okay, so that connection is made. Now all I have to do is flip my switch on the inverter. Boom. I'm now charging my bike for free from the sun. And with 120 amp hour capacity of these batteries, I can charge both my bikes, have power left over. In addition, if we would have a power outage or something, I could also, since this is a 1000-watt inverter, I could also run an extension cord from here, if I needed to, up into my house there, and I could power my computers and things while the power outage was off, but I haven't needed to do that. It's just been a really nice way to keep these, to charge my bikes. So that is kind of a snapshot, an overview. I shouldn't say a snapshot, it's a pretty detailed overview of how to do this shed. Very easy. It took me a day to do it. And even once I had everything bolted together, all the piping and the panels, everything attached, I could still move this by myself. I had to maneuver it into position, and I had to do a few interesting body configurations to get all these things bolted on by myself. But I used a ladder so I could bend over on some of these taller sections. But that's something it reveals itself as you put it together, but it's worked out really well. I've been super happy. And again, all you need, if you've got 6 feet by 4 feet of empty space in your backyard or just out behind your house, whatever, you can put a shed in there and keep a couple bikes, and it works really, really well. So that is the update on the shed part of this ecosystem, and we will get into more details on the bikes later. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful.